Welcome to Guide Mia. Today we're going to talk about the two monitors inside the Cympha Agent Manager, Cloud Monitor and File Monitor. If you've already installed and paired the agent, these two watchers are where it starts earning its keep. One keeps your workstation in sync with your Cympha cases, the other watches your scanner folder and offers to turn new files into cases. They sound similar and do completely different jobs, so by the end of this lecture you'll know exactly what each one does, what each one deliberately does not do, and which one to switch on for a designer desk, a chairside PC, or both. Follow along on screen, or listen now and read the written guide later. Start with the mental model because the names invite confusion. Cloud Monitor is the outbound and inbound loop with Cympha. It pulls down the cases assigned to you, the lab slip, the scans, the project files, and it pushes up the deliverables you save into its workspace folder. It is the bridge between your desktop and app.cympha.com. File Monitor has no cloud awareness of its own at all. It watches one or more local folders, and when a brand new file lands in one, it raises a tray notification and offers to start the Create a Case flow in your browser. It never uploads anything in the background. It always asks first. One is a sync engine, the other is a doorbell. Keep those two sentences in your head, and everything else in this lecture falls into place. The prerequisites are short. You need the Agent Manager installed and paired, tray icon visible, tooltip reading Cympha Agent Manager. If you're not there yet, the Install and Pair lecture is the place to start. You need a Windows workstation, since the agent is Windows only. And for File Monitor specifically, you need to know where your scanner writes its exports, somewhere on disk where your intraoral scanner or your scan cleaning tool drops new files when a case finishes scanning. Worth saying clearly, the two monitors are fully independent. A designer workstation can run Cloud Monitor alone. The designer never scans. A chairside clinic machine can run File Monitor alone. Most setups end up running both because the two are complementary, but nothing requires it. Cloud Monitor first. Right-click the tray icon, hover Cloud Monitoring, and you'll find Configure Workspace, Start and Stop Monitoring, Show Panel, and Reset Sync State. Click Configure Workspace. The dialog explains that this is the folder where the agent will download your incoming Cympha cases with Choose Folder and Clear buttons. And until you pick one, the folder reads Not Set. That phrase matters. There is no default folder. Cloud Monitoring is opt-in and does absolutely nothing until you choose a location, which is also the first thing to check whenever nothing seems to download. Pick something dedicated. Most labs use a purpose-made workspace folder on a roomy drive. And here's the convenience. Picking the folder auto starts monitoring. There's no second click, no separate on switch. Choose the folder and the loop is live. So what does a running loop actually produce? Inside your workspace, the agent organizes by category, then by case. Each case gets its own folder named after the patient, the date, and the case number. Inside that folder, you'll find the doctor's uploaded scans and a lab slip PDF. And that slip isn't a one-time export. It's refreshed whenever the case changes, so the printable version on your disk stays current with the case online. Anything you save into that same folder becomes a candidate for upload, which is the other half of the bridge and the subject of the next slide. As for cadence, the agent checks for new cases every 20 seconds. In practice, that means a case assigned to you appears on your disk within half a minute, without you touching anything. To watch the bridge work, open Cloud Monitoring, then Show Panel. The Cloud Monitor panel has 3 panes. New and Workspace lists files you've dropped into a case folder that are waiting to upload, with an Upload All button, plus per row Upload and Ignore actions. Its empty state even spells out the rule. Drop files under the Workspace category, case folder to queue them. Uploaded shows what went up this session. Downloaded shows what came down. And notice the wording on the Clear History button. It clears the visible lists only. It never touches the sync state, so nothing gets re-downloaded just because you tidied the display. One more habit the panel teaches. Activity from a single poll is batched into one tray toast titled Cympha Cloud Activity. Say, 3 files downloaded, 1 uploaded, rather than a storm of notifications. For rules govern the upload side, and they're all deliberate. First, only case content file types are offered for upload, and the list is specific enough to be worth hearing in full. STL, PLY, and OBJ for meshes, PNG for images, GVW for a plan view, TXT and PDF for notes and slips, PIE for an implant project, XML for a refinement, GPK for a transfer pack, and zip archives. Anything outside that list, temp files, operating system junk, a stray spreadsheet, is filtered out so the panel stays focused on things that could actually belong on a case. Second, most files wait for your click in the panel, The agent queues them, you decide. But third, two kinds of files skip the queue. Zip archives and GVW design output upload automatically, because those are self-contained design deliverables. When a design tool writes one, it's finished by definition. And fourth, deleting a downloaded file locally does not make the agent re-download it. A handled file is treated as your decision. The agent won't fight you over your own disk. When that assumption bites, there's an escape hatch coming up next. Two controls for when you need the loop to pause or forget. Stop monitoring takes Cloud Monitor offline temporarily, and nothing is lost because cases assigned to you simply accumulate server-side and download on the next start. Use it for travel, maintenance, or a noisy demo. Reset Sync State is the deeper tool, and its confirmed dialog says exactly what it does. It clears the agent's bookkeeping, but never touches the files on disk. Files that already exist in the workspace are re-tombstoned, recorded as handled, not re-downloaded, and ignored workspace files stay ignored. Afterwards, it reports how many case and file records it cleared. When is that useful? After a botched manual deletion has left the agent confused about what it has seen. And to be completely clear about its blast radius, since the name sounds alarming, it does not delete files from disk, it does not touch your workspace folder, and it does not affect the case's state on the server at all. It's a reset of memory, not of data. Your folders and your cases stay exactly as they are. Now the doorbell. From the tray menu, open File Monitoring and click Configure Folders. The dialog explains the deal. The agent watches these folders and their subfolders for new files. Use Add Folder to point it at the place your scanner or scan cleaning tool writes Finished Exports. And you can add more than one. A typical Chairside Plus cleanup setup watches both the raw scanner export folder and the post-processing tool's output. Close the dialog and note the difference from Cloud Monitor. Here you do need to toggle Start Monitoring yourself. Two behaviors to internalize before you test it. Files already sitting in the folder when monitoring starts are never surfaced. Only files that appear after that moment count as new. And there is no file type filter. Any new file gets listed, whatever its extension. The agent doesn't try to recognize scanned files. You decide what matters in the pop-up. Test it. Drop a file into the watch folder. Drag and scan, copy from the scanner, anything. Within seconds, a toast pops near the tray. Cympha Agent, New Files, and the Show Pending Files menu item picks up a count. Click either, and the New Files Detected pop-up opens near the tray. Notice it never steals focus. If you're mid-click in your scanning software, nothing yanks the cursor away. The pop-up waits. Each row shows the file with its size, plus 2 per file controls, an I button that opens a preview in your browser without uploading the file anywhere, and a Remove From List button. At the bottom, the real decision. Ignore drops the files from the pending list, and the agent remembers the ignore, so the same file doesn't keep repopping just because it stays in the folder. Create a Case is the button that starts the actual workflow. Next slide. Click Create a Case, and the handoff runs like this. The agent opens your default browser at the New Case from Agent page, where you, signed in, choose whether this is a clinical case or a lab case. That page creates the draft case and tells the agent the new case number. The agent then runs its Upload Worker page to transfer the selected files onto that case, and from there you fill in the rest of the case form exactly as you would any other patient, lab, category, parameters. Notice how the labor divides. The agent-handled the part computers are good at moving the right files onto the right case and left every judgment to you, which is a good moment to state File Monitor's boundaries as plainly as the written guide does. 3 nevers, and they're the design, not a limitation. File Monitor never uploads a file in the background. No scan leaves your machine just because it appeared in a folder. It never auto-creates a case. A case exists only when you click Create a Case and complete the form. And it never picks the lab, the patient, or the category for you. The entire purpose of the feature is the prompt. Surface the file the moment it lands, so nothing gets forgotten in an export folder, and leave the human in the loop for everything that matters. If you've been hesitant to point an automated tool at your patient data folder, this is the part to hear. Watching is all it does until you say otherwise. The convenience is in the noticing, not in any silent action. A few things about living with these two running side by side. Cloud Monitor keeps polling in the background, so cases you submit through the Create a Case flow show up in your normal case list like any other. And here's a pleasing consequence if you're both a doctor and a designer on the same workstation. The case you just created from a scanner file goes up, and then, as soon as a designer takes it, which might well be you, the agent re-downloads the case files into your Cloud Monitor workspace. The two monitors coexist happily. The file makes a round trip through Cympha and comes back organized as a proper case folder. File monitor, meanwhile, runs until you stop it. Until you click Stop Monitoring, the agent will keep poking you about every new file that lands in a watch folder, which is the whole point. But if your scanner also dumps temporary files there, use Ignore on them. The agent remembers ignored files and stops asking. And a boundary worth naming. AlignerBot is its own thing. Its submenu is for labs running the desktop dispatch loop on this workstation. And while it works out of the very Cloud Monitor workspace folder you configured today, it has its own start and stop controls and its own guide. The classic snags. If Cloud Monitor runs but no case folder appears, remember the agent only materializes cases where you are the holder. If the case still sits at submitted or intake review, it won't download. Designers can confirm what's theirs on my assignments. If File Monitor isn't popping, check that the folder is in the configured list and monitoring is started. And remember, pre-existing files never surface and the pop-up doesn't steal focus, so check the tray for the toast. If the same file keeps reappearing after you ignored it, your scanner is probably rewriting it, making it new again, move it out, or unwatch that folder. If a file you dropped into a case folder and never showed in the panel, check its extension against the upload list, and note the desktop project file itself never uploads. The deliverables that travel are the review file and the transfer pack. And to switch the agent off without uninstalling, just quit from a tray. Pairing survives. On relaunch, it picks up where it left off. You now know the agent's two watchers, the sync engine that keeps a workstation stocked with your cases, and the doorbell that makes sure no scan dies forgotten in an export folder. Pick the combination that matches the desk. Cloud Monitor for anyone who receives cases, File Monitor for anyone who produces scans, both for the desk that does both. If you're a designer, the next lecture to watch is the one on opening downloaded cases and refining plans. If you're standing up an AlignerBot lab, the AlignerBot submenu builds on the very Cloud Monitor workspace you configured today. That pipeline has its own lecture too. The written guide, every submenu, dialog, and empty state message is at cympha.com under Docs. Use Cloud Monitor and File Monitor. We're walking the whole platform one lecture at a time, so subscribe if you want the rest. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.